Thank you for that, the IT team. So it gives us a great delight to welcome you to this interactive session. That is the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria interactive session with the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria on the Audit Regulation 2020. I would like to specially welcome our council members who are present on this call. We would like to also acknowledge the chairpersons of the various chapters, the Executive Council of ICSAN, as well as our distinguished guest, Dr. Iheanyi Anyahara. Anyahara, would like to welcome you, sir. He's the Acting Executive Secretary, CEO of the Financial Reporting Council. And sincerely speaking, is our distinguished guest at this session. I would like to remind us of some basic ground rules regarding today's session. We welcome all of your participants, and we know that we want to really take a lot back, because like I always say, if we have any gathering, you're at any forum, and you're not able to take some tangible points back, that means your time might not have been used effectively. So to that end, I would like to crave your indulgence that if you please use the chat room if you want to make comments or just speak to what our guest speaker will be saying. But if you have questions, specific questions, please put them in the Q&A box. So comments will go into the general chat. Then the questions will go into the questions and answer box. You know, this will help us to be able to just lift the cogent questions that our guests will be answering today. So please don't put your questions in the chat room where we'll be having a lot of comments rolling over them. It will help us to pick and address your questions adequately. So again, please use the question and answer box for your questions. I will also encourage participants to please limit the comments so that we can also, sift through, and if we see anything that we need to address, we can also pick them. But it is your session, so we're going to make it really interactive, engaging, and absolutely impactful. Today's topic is on the Audit Regulations 2020. We're here to address the stakeholders' concern on the mandatory requirement of the audit committee members with the Financial Reporting Council, and also the sanctions that have been articulated in the regulations. So I would like to hand over to our chief host, my president and the chairman of council of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, Mr. Bode Ayeku. Over to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Biola Lashende. Let me introduce you so that our participants will know you. Ms. Biola Lashende is the chairperson of the Corporate Members Committee of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria. And as you are aware, this particular program we are having basically is of interest to corporate bodies and stakeholders of corporate bodies. And she has been facilitator or moderator at most of our webinars since COVID started last year. So I thank you for the role you have been playing. And also I thank you for giving us today to also moderate this particular session. On behalf of the Council of the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, I welcome our distinguished guests, our special guest of honor today, the Acting Executive Secretary of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Dr. Iheanyi Anyahara, to this particular program. The Financial Reporting Council is known to all stakeholders in Nigeria. It's also known to the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria. We've been working together over the years. A lot of stakeholders in Nigeria will recall that the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria participated actively in the review of the National Code of Corporate Governance starting from 2015 up to 2018, members were involved. At least we have substantial number, not less than 5 of our members who are part of the steering committee. Even in the template of the corporate governance reporting that FRC released last year, we also participated in it. And that is our mandate because it is an institute established by Act of Parliament of Nigeria. We are not an association, we are not a club. We have a mandate to regulate this profession. And because we are dealing with stakeholders relating to corporate entities, whenever we have regulations, these stakeholders normally revert to us to ask questions. And what we do is also to interface with the relevant agencies of government to seek clarification. We are working together, the regulators, the companies, the shareholders, the stakeholders, we are working towards achieving the same goal. And for us to work together, we must listen to ourselves. For us to also work together, we must be able to accommodate ourselves and to provide clarification. So that is why we are having this particular engagement. And first and foremost, because we have been on around for some years now, we know the orientation of the various agencies. The Financial Reporting Council did something which must be acknowledged and commended in terms of the exposure of this particular regulation, draft regulation. It was exposed to stakeholders for them to make their comments. And I recall, so they extended the time. Stakeholders made their comments and before it was eventually released. And as natural or as expected, whenever regulations are released, there will be gray areas. There will be need for clarification. And that is why when this particular one was released and the stakeholders started asking questions, we said, let's draw the attention of the Financial Reporting Council to this. And graciously, the Financial Reporting Council agreed to, yes, let's interface. We are in it together. Let's look at it objectively. And for our stakeholders, don't forget, even CAMA that was released in August 2020, there are a lot of issues. And the Corporate Affairs Commission has been interfacing because, and the Corporate Affairs Commission also acknowledged that there are drafting errors here and there. So it is not new. If laws can be defective right from birth, regulations also can require clarification or modification. So that is why we are having this particular engagement. And for some of our participants who are joining our program for the first time, the Institute has been in Nigeria as far back as 1944. Let me repeat, 1944, so that you hear it very well. We did not just start. We elected our first president in 1966. We are established by Act of Parliament in 1991, and we have been playing our role as corporate governance experts. We are affiliated to local professional bodies and the Corporate Secretaries International Association, which is the global body of company secretaries worldwide. And that particular association basically is the voice of governance professionals. For the Institute in Nigeria, as the hub of governance professionals, we work with various agencies. Our duty, our responsibility is to facilitate business, to facilitate economic prosperity of this country, and we'll continue to do that. So we are honored, we are pleased today that in advance, I can say the session will be very successful. We have the guests seated even well ahead of time. So please feel free, stakeholders, if by the time you listen to the presentation of the guests, put your questions directly where it should be a question, Q&A. Don't go to comment box so that the guest speaker also can be reading live. And then at the appropriate time, who will respond to all the questions. Let's be decent with our questions. Let not abuse anybody. If you have clarification, put it there. They will provide the clarification. And then let's make it in form of a dialogue, a mature dialogue of professionals. And then at the end of the day, we'll be able to reach a conclusion that will be of interest to all stakeholders. So it's on that note that I welcome all of you to this particular session today. And I hand the mic back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my president. Thank you for your warm welcome remarks to our distinguished participants, all of us. I'm really pleased to announce that we have over 300 participants who registered for today's session, and we are really pleased to welcome you all. As at this moment, we have close to 140, so we know others are joining any moment from now. So we would like to bring our distinguished guest up to the floor for him to give his opening remarks as well as some insight into today's topic. Before we bring him up, I'd like to read his profile. I am really impressed with this profile. I couldn't help but, ask that we read it all through as a full length. Dr. Anyahara is a first-class honors graduate from the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. He also has MSc Accounting from the same university and an MBA from University of Port Harcourt. He holds a PhD in accounting from the prestigious Nigerian faith-based University Bangkok. He has over 3 decades of industry experience, out of which more than 19 years have been in financial reporting and management, accounting standard setting and financial reporting regulation at the Financial Reporting Council. He has acted as the Executive Secretary CEO at different occasions, and currently is the officer overseeing the Office of the Executive Secretary CEO of the Financial Reporting Council. Dr. Anyahara is passionate and he has a history as a key pillar in the march of civilization, a role he sees as enduring and relevant for securing the future of the Nigerian economy. He has also played several leadership roles, which include serving as a member of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on National Charts of Accounts for Nigeria, as well as member of the IPSA Gap Analysis Committee. Doctor has served as the Secretary to the National Stakeholders Committee on the roadmap to the adoption of the IFRS in Nigeria, the committee that prepared the roadmap reports, which was approved by the Federal Executive Council under our former President, Jonathan. Doctor is a member of several professional bodies, including ICANN, Association of Forensic Accounting Researchers as a fellow, Nigerian Institute of Management, and Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. He's a regular speaker, various fora, especially on financial reporting regulation and the adoption of IFRS, IPAS, anti-money laundering, corporate governance, and other financial reporting related topics. Doctor has facilitated the various topics at the programs. He's happily married with wonderful children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor to hand over the mic to Dr. Anyahara. Dr. Sir, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Biola, for that wonderful pronouncement of my name. I appreciate that. And thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for providing this opportunity, and distinguished participants. Let me start by sharing my thoughts. It's just an address, a background, so that we will all be together in looking at it. I want to start like this. Let me start by appreciating every one of you on this platform today for sacrificing your time and comfort to be part of this exercise. I see your effort today as investing towards having more enduring, credible corporate reporting regime that enhances capital formation, growth, and preservation. Our collaboration with the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria is further being strengthened by this engagement, which the Institute is hosting. I appreciate the doggedness of the President of the Institute, Mr. Bode Ayeku, who initiated this engagement and persistently followed up to ensure that the engagement holds. I need to thank him. He had already outlined all the relationship the Institute has with the Council. It is on record that your institute has played a very laudable role in propagating corporate governance, to which the Council appreciates, and we believe we will continue the relationship. Today's webinar is the 5th in the series since January 25, 2021, when the audit regulations were approved by the Honorable Minister of Trade and Investment. Many more of the engagements are being scheduled in the Council's spirit of transparency and openness. The equity and credit market, which we usually refer to as capital markets, are among the most efficient markets the world over, but particularly in the economically developed world. One reason for the efficient operation of these markets is the public availability of credible financial statements to stakeholders and the confidence in these statements by those using them as a basis for their investment and credit decisions. In the past decades, events posing potential serious threats to the efficient functioning of these markets have been the growing incidence of fraudulent financial reporting. The investing public roundly blame the accounting and auditing profession. And I know if this platform is giving some opportunity today, they will push the blame on accounting and auditing profession. However, I know you are very much aware that there is therefore constant beaming of spotlight on the financial reporting supply chain. It is going beyond accounting and auditing profession, but to all those involved in the financial reporting supply chain. According to IFAC 2009, quote, the financial reporting supply chain refers to the people and processes involved in the preparation, approval, audit, analysis, and use of financial reports. All the links in the chain need to be of high quality and closely connected to supply high quality financial reporting chain. The two major categories of financial reporting supply chain, like we mentioned, is people and processes. And I want to just take you through, without wasting your time, classifying people so that we will see who and who are involved in financial reporting supply chain. We classified the people into two, internal and external. Members of board of directors, audit committee, chief executive officers, chief finance officers, internal auditors, internal controllers, and preparers have been classified as internal. While external parties involve external auditors, all other professionals that provide assurance services like actuaries, valuers, as well as regulators, depending on the sector you belong in Nigeria, either in insurance regulated by NICOM, or we look at Corporate Affairs Commission that has the responsibility of issuing registration certificates, or Securities and Exchange Commission charged with publicly listed entities along with stock exchange where they trade. And of course, with Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, the umbrella regulator on financial reporting issues, as well as other stakeholders, are classified as external parties. A further analysis of the parties involved in the financial reporting supply chain we reveal the significant and critical role of the audit committee members play. The Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, which my dear President made reference to, in section 404, subsection 2, requires that, I quote, auditors shall, in the case of public company, make a report to audit committee, which shall be established by the public company, unquote. Furthermore, section 404, subsection 4 of the same term states, I still quote, the audit committee shall examine the auditor's report and make recommendation thereon to the annual general meeting as it may deem fit. I pause a little and want you to also follow me, pause and think about that. There is this I bolded and highlighted in red, still section 404, subsection 5 of CAMA 2020 requires that, I quote, all members of the audit committee shall be financially literate, and at least one member shall be a member of a professional accounting body in Nigeria established by an act of the National Assembly. In line with the above, audit regulations came into being to further give effect to the above in line with FRC mandates. You will agree with me that regulation of financial reporting in Nigeria was on self-regulation or at most regulation at the professional organizational level, which has been on persuasive approach. This approach is no more acceptable globally. Hence, the advent of Financial Reporting Council or its equivalent globally to provide independent oversight over financial reporting. It is not only in Nigeria, we have FRC UK, FRC Mauritius, we have some other variants, independent regulators of auditing boards of South Africa. We have the Public Companies Accounting Oversight Board of US. All of them are involved in financial reporting, jettisoning the self-regulation hitherto in existence. Generally, strong independent public oversight is required because it helps to create and maintain trust in the work of auditors by providing safeguards for companies and investors. This, among other things, account for the enactment of the Financial Reporting Council Act number 6, 2011. Permit me to say a few words, even though President has said that FRC is known to everybody, but I think most people also do not recognize that FRC is a regulatory agency of the federal government that promotes trade and investment in Nigeria by ensuring high standards of financial reporting and corporate governance. This is basic because capital flows to where there is high standard of corporate governance, where there is transparency, where there is confidence, and where there is openness. So when we pride ourselves as promoting trade and investment, if we don't have high standards of financial reporting and corporate governance, we will have serious issues in our economy, especially the capital market. The Council also maintains independent public oversight of accounting, auditing, and financial reporting and corporate governance of public interest entities by setting, monitoring, and enforcement of compliance with related standards. We also charged with the responsibility of advising government on accounting, financial reporting, and corporate governance matters with commensurate powers to do all things connected with above functions. I'm proud to state that the Council has been very resolute and committed in driving its vision of being the conscience of regulatory assurance in financial reporting and corporate governance in Nigeria. By its establishment, the Financial Reporting Council has oversight powers covering ethics, corporate governance, accounting standards, auditing standards, of course, practice review and quality assurance, audit reports, and oversight over other professionals. Let me be specific on this. Other professionals engaged in financial reporting activities. And of course, all financial reporting issues. As we are very much aware, one of the objects of the Council as stipulated in Section 11, Subsection A of the Financial Reporting Council Act, number 6, 2011, is to protect investors and other stakeholders' interests, which is at the heart of every shareholder and everyone here today, I presume. All of us would want our interests protected, but what differs is to what extent and how we want it protected. Therefore, I make bold to say that we are partners in progress, and therefore should work closely to see that the audit regulations 2020 are effectively implemented. How did we come to this level? And that is what I termed the journey to the regulation. Of course, the Council in October 2018 established what we call Audit Regulations Working Group to advise and assist the Council on technical matters relating to the regulation of audit and assurance services. The Council did not sit on its own. We selected across the stakeholders representatives that met severally from October 2018 till sometime, I think, November 2020 to get this done. And the membership is, as stated here, represented by all the big four audit firms, by medium-sized audit firms. We also went to the extent of looking for representatives from forum of small and medium-sized practitioners. Office of the Auditor General for the Federation was not left out, they were represented. And we have an association called Nigerian Accounting Association, known before as Nigerian Teachers Association, that involved the lecturers of accounting in tertiary institutions. We also brought them on board. We also brought representatives of Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. Securities and Exchange Commission was represented, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and Association of National Accountants of Nigeria. Permit me, because I know my president may be agitated now, saying, okay, if all this were represented, why wasn't the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria? In my village, they say you will not be 100% to get society working. There's no way we'll get everybody and the committee will be unnecessarily unwieldy. Apologies if your own interest and everybody's interest did not form part of the working group. However, when we go through the later part of this address, you'll see that we also gave opportunity for everybody to make comments. Simple, the audit working group was just to provide technical assistance to us. They were charged with the responsibility of assessing the current state of audit regulation in Nigeria, identify relevant gaps as compared with the audit regulation environment in the European Union, United States of America, and key economies in the African continental free trade area. Of course, develop requirements for registration, withdrawal of registration, and maintenance of up-to-date register of auditors, and some other charges we gave them. Permit me so that I don't take most of your time. And of course, the objective of the regulation is to provide legal and regulatory framework for minimum practice guidelines for auditors in Nigeria and to give effect to the provisions of the Act. Also to regulate and ensure that all registered auditors carry out their professional duties, to ensure that recognized supervisory bodies comply with these regulations, and many more of their responsibility. So the audit regulation working group, like we have mentioned, was inaugurated on October 18, 2018, and met severally and presented what we call draft exposure drafts. This draft exposure draft was considered by the relevant committee of the board, known as Technical and Oversight Committee of the board, who met severally on the document and approved the exposure draft. Still making reference to my beloved president, Mr. Yoku, the exposure draft was exposed for public comment for 2 months. However, while we were engaging relevant stakeholders during the exposure draft period, there was a request that it should be extended. And of course, it was extended and we received more comments. After receiving comments and several engagements with relevant stakeholders, the audit regulation working group met and considered all the inputs from everybody and then sent their final draft to the Technical and Oversight Committee of the board again, that met for about 2-3 times, consider the final document. In line with our due process, this committee of the board presented their work to the governing board at their meeting, and the governing board, after considering the document as recommended, approved it. The board approved document was transmitted to Honorable Minister, Federal Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. And he, after his own thorough review, because I know what it passed through, even through the Legal Services Department of the Ministry and technical assistance of the minister, he graciously appended his signature to the document on January 25, 2021. Permit me to take you through, just in a gypsy, the scope and application of the document. The Audit Regulation 2020 is applicable in the Federal Republic of Nigeria to regulate statutory auditors, other assurance providers, audit committee members, internal controllers, etc. The only exception is to the auditors general, because they are constitutional body and they are known as supreme audit institution based on section 85, subsection 6 and section 125, subsection 6 of the Nigerian Constitution. But I will also explain here that other auditors, external auditors that carry work for ministry, department, and agencies of government are not considered in this exemption. It is only the auditors, what we refer to as Office of the Auditor General, they are auditors. The financial crisis has demonstrated that robust and transparent audit practices need to be embedded in all organizations. Obviously, the audit regulations is an enabler for re-establishing the much needed trust in financial reports. There is therefore a clarion call for strict compliance with the regulation by all concerned. This will orchestrate the need for a re-evaluation of both remuneration structures, board level expertise and training, risk management, sustainability, etc., that are in line with sustainable corporates. With pandemic, this regulation provides increased transparency for investors and other stakeholders, and are expected to be in high demand. However, assurance by independent qualified professionals to enhance the credibility of corporate reporting will need to be pursued with vigor by all affected professionals. Our engagement with members of shareholders association, with ISAN, with everybody, ISAN, is very strategic, and we decided to use today's exercise to personally and specifically request that the Institute of Chartered Association of Nigeria devote considerable time to consider the audit regulation for a meaningful and quality contribution towards the effective implementation of the audit regulation. The audit regulation, sir, is very strategic in the quest to Nigeria joining the league of global community that have effectively set up independent audit regulators. I want to stress on this. Nigeria fritter the scarce resources for not being a member of International Forum of Independent Audit Regulators because the forum has not seen effective audit regulation. And that is what this is all about. You may not be aware that other audit regulators from other jurisdictions come to Nigeria to review the works of our Big Four firms and even preclude them from auditing subsidiaries of some of these entities that were established in other regions. And we have gotten positive response that by implementation of these regulations come January 2022, that Nigeria will be admitted in that forum, and that will put paid to filtering of resources and having them come to Nigeria to examine the audit quality process of our audit firms. One of the critical concerns on the implementation of the audit regulation is the capacity. We are currently discussing with development partners in this regard, and I'm pleased to inform you that the Council has received positive assurances from some bodies internationally and locally to deploy resources to assist. And of course, such will be extended to all of us. We appreciate the relevant stakeholders for the tremendous support the Council has received so far, especially since the audit regulation was released. Our engagement so far include sessions with the Big Four audit firm, small and medium practice, shareholders association, internal auditors. And we put on record also that some firms have also provided platforms for the Council to discuss the audit regulations with their staff and clients, while the two professional accounting organizations have since included the regulation in their ongoing mandatory continuing education. This is very commendable, and we appreciate the stakeholders for all these engagements. We plan to commence training on the implementation of the audit regulations next quarter, especially as audit firms, audit committee members, shareholders, board members, internal auditors, and assurance providers. We are of the view that the Council collaboration with all stakeholders will result in a seamless implementation of the regulation. Finally, I wish to inform you that we shall commence quality control review in January 2022 in line with the transition program. The Council therefore solicits for your support in implementation of the regulations. I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you for your attention, and pray God to bless all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anyahara. Thank you for that very, very robust paper that has, attempted to highlight a lot of issues that we, a lot of our participants, some of us will not have had the privilege of knowing. You have articulated the background to this regulation. You have unveiled all the stakeholders who were part of the the committee working group. You have, in a very succinct way, giving us the history, the purpose, the benefits, and you ended this robust charge by appealing to all the stakeholders on this at this session, to cooperate with the Commission so that we can see a successful implementation of the regulations. You have given us insights into your plans, the Commission's plan towards capacity building for all of those charged with governance. That's really, really assuring that for this to work well, all stakeholders will have to come on board and join hands with you as partners. We need to collaborate, we need to see the purpose and the benefits. Doctor, you have done a very good presentation and we thank you.